My name is Alina Brooks. I'm 25 years old, and the day my family called me a failure, I was standing in a room full of people clapping for me. Funny, right? Two completely different realities happening at the same time. And yeah, before I tell you how everything flipped upside down with just one message, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button, subscribe if you vibe with real stories, and drop in the comments where you're watching from. I actually read those. All right, let me take you back. 6 months ago, cold morning, January. I was standing outside a glass building in downtown Chicago, holding a folder so tight my fingers were literally numb. Inside that building, my dream job interview. Outside, me, second-guessing my entire existence. Because just 20 minutes before that, my mom texted me this: "Don't embarrass us. Just be realistic about your expectations." Yeah, that was her version of good luck. And honestly, that text hit harder than any rejection ever could. But you gotta understand something first. This didn't start that morning. Nah, this goes way back. I grew up in a house where love was conditional. Not openly, not loudly, but you could feel it. My older brother, Jason, golden boy, straight up favorite. Didn't matter what he did, he could breathe, and my parents would clap like he'd just won the Olympics. Meanwhile, me, if I got a 95, they'd ask where the other 5 points went. If I stayed quiet, I was too cold. If I spoke up, I was too much. You ever feel like no matter what you do, you just don't fit in your own home? Yeah, that was me. I remember one moment crystal clear. Senior year of high school. I got accepted into a really good university, partial scholarship. I came home excited as hell, heart racing, thinking this was the moment. Like finally they'll be proud. I put the letter on the table, my mom read it, my dad glanced over, and you know what she said? "That's far. Who's gonna pay for the rest?" That's it. No hug. No, "we're proud of you." Just logistics. Meanwhile, 2 weeks later, they surprised Jason with a brand new car. Brand new. I stood at the window watching them hand him the keys, and that's when something inside me quietly shifted. I didn't cry, I didn't argue, I just stopped expecting. Fast forward, I moved out at 19, worked 2 jobs, morning shift at a coffee shop, night shift at a retail store, college during the day, sleep optional, stress constant. But I kept going because deep down I had this stupid hope that one day they'd see me. Back to that interview day. I walked into that building, heart pounding, sat across from 3 people who actually looked at me like I mattered. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel small. I answered every question, owned my story, didn't downplay anything, because I was tired of shrinking myself just to make other people comfortable. When I walked out, I felt different, like something had shifted. Not because I knew I got the job, but because for once I showed up as me. That night, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I picked up. "Hi, Alina. This is Mark from the hiring team. We'd like to offer you the position." I froze. Like full system shutdown. You ever get news so big your brain just lags? Yeah, that was me. Salary? More money than I'd ever seen in my life. Benefits, growth, everything. I said yes, hung up, and just sat there, staring at the wall, alone. And instinctively, I reached for my phone, scrolled to Mom, paused, because I already knew how that conversation would go. "You got lucky, let's see how long it lasts, don't get too excited." So for the first time in my life, I didn't call. Instead, I ordered pizza, put on some random show, and just sat with it. My win. My moment. Mine. Weeks passed. I started the job, and let me tell you something. I worked like crazy. Stayed late, learned everything, made mistakes, fixed them, kept going. And slowly, people started noticing. Not fake noticing, real recognition. My manager once told me, "You don't realize how good you are, do you?" And that hit different, because no one had ever said that to me before. Meanwhile, my family, same energy, same vibes, same dismissive tone. I went to a family dinner one night, big mistake. Sat at the table, food passed around, laughter. Then Jason starts talking about his job. Same old story. Everyone listening like it's a TED Talk. I waited for a pause, then said, "I got promoted last week." Silence. 2 seconds. 3. My dad goes, "That's nice. Pass the salt." That was it. That was the moment. Something in me just snapped. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly broke. I went home that night, looked at myself in the mirror, and said out loud, "Why are you still trying?" No answer, because deep down, I already knew. So I stopped. Stopped sharing, stopped updating, stopped hoping. Not out of anger, out of clarity. 3 months later, I made a move. The kind of move no one saw coming. Not my family, not even my closest friends. Because this time, I kept it low-key. Silent grind. No announcements, no validation, just action. And then, one day, I posted a single photo. No caption explanation. Just this. Me, standing in front of a place that changed everything. Keys in my hand, smile I couldn't fake if I tried. Caption, "Did it on my own. No cosigns, no shortcuts." That post blew up. People sharing it, commenting, showing love. But that's not the crazy part. The crazy part is what happened next. Because within 1 hour, my phone showed something I had never seen before. Calls, back to back, non-stop, from the same person, the one who never picked up for me. My mom. 27 missed calls, then 32, then 41. I just sat there, staring at the wall, not answering. For the first time in my life, I had the power to choose silence. And trust me, the reason she was calling wasn't love. It wasn't pride. It was something else. Something she just saw. Something that made her realize she lost control of the narrative. And that photo, the one I posted, yeah, it wasn't just a picture. It was proof. Proof of everything they said I couldn't do. Proof that I never needed them, just needed to believe I didn't. But what happened the next day when someone showed up at my door, unannounced? That's where everything got real. And trust me, you're not ready for what they said. Next morning, I was still in my hoodie, coffee in hand, trying to act like those missed calls didn't shake me. Then, knock knock. Not soft, not polite. Heavy, like someone had been standing there for a while already. I opened the door, and yeah, it was my mom, standing there. No makeup, eyes tired, phone still in her hand. For a second, we just looked at each other. 24 years of unspoken stuff just hanging in the air. Then she said, "You bought a house and didn't tell me?" Not, "I'm proud of you." Not, "How are you?" Just that. Same pattern, different day. I leaned against the doorframe and said calmly, "I graduated and you didn't come." Silence. Real silence, not the awkward kind, the heavy kind. She tried to switch it up. "You're overreacting, Alina. We were busy." I cut her off. "No, you were available, just not for me." That hit. I saw it in her face. For the first time, she didn't have a quick reply. She looked around at the house, the porch, the keys in my hand, and her voice got softer. "Why didn't you tell us?" I took a breath and said the one thing I'd been holding in for years. "Because every time I told you something good, you made it feel small." That was it. No yelling, no drama, just truth. Her eyes filled up a little. Not dramatic tears, just quiet ones. And she asked, "What do you want me to do?" I shook my head. "I don't want anything from you anymore. That's the point." That sentence, yeah, it changed everything. Because anger can be argued with, but indifference, that scares people. She stood there for a moment, like she was realizing something she should have seen years ago. Then she nodded slowly, turned around, and walked away. No hug, no apology, just silence. A week later, my dad showed up. Didn't say much, that's just him. He looked at the door, the lock, the frame, and said, "This hinge is loose." I almost laughed. Out of everything, that's what he noticed. He fixed it, tightened the screws, checked the handle twice. Before leaving, he paused and said quietly, "You did good." 2 words, that's all. But coming from him, that was everything. Months passed. Things didn't magically become perfect. My mom still hasn't fully said what I deserved to hear, but she tries in her own way. My brother, he started calling more, asking real questions for the first time in his life, not comparing, not competing, just talking. And me? I stopped chasing validation, stopped waiting for someone else to clap. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. Sometimes the people you wanted support from the most were never capable of giving it. And that's not your failure. That's just reality. Now I sit on my porch some evenings, coffee in hand, peace in my chest, and I think about that girl standing alone at her graduation, waiting for someone to show up. If I could talk to her now, I'd say, "You don't need them to see you to become someone worth seeing." So yeah, that one photo, it didn't just change their behavior, it changed me. If you've ever felt overlooked, undervalued, or like you had to prove yourself to people who never noticed, just know this. Your life doesn't start when they finally appreciate you. It starts when you stop needing them to. And trust me, that moment, that's where everything changes.